Hi crafters, Ditzybellzz here. Thought I'd give you a little demonstration on a bias binding making machine. I didn't know they were existing until I stumbled across one. I do a lot of bias binding, mainly on bibs and around little arms of dresses and the little ties in the back. I've stood there for hours and hours using these with the ironing board. You can pick up a full set of those ones from eBay. I'm an eBay shopper. I'm savvy in that way. Get a pack of 4 with the 4 different sizes, or under $8 you can get all 4 for. I just drop them everywhere, but that's okay. The Simplicity Bias Tape Maker. That's the box. You can still purchase these. A lot of people are still selling them. I got this one from eBay. In Australia, I paid $180 plus about $15 postage. It has cut down the time of my bias making and made me make more bias, and I'll show you why. So the box has some good little instructions. It comes in the top with a leaflet with all the instructions that you need. There's a couple of videos out there, but you've got mine to watch as well. We've already got the cord out of the box, so it's already plugged in. It just has a little latch here that you flip open and fold. The machine itself has its on-off. You can have your different settings for your cotton, wool, linen, any of those type of things that you're doing. You've got a stop and start run button, and the little green light's going to tell you when it's hot enough. It heats up really fast. You'll see that in a minute. You just push this forward and lift it up. That is your ironing hot plate, and then that's the roller that once it's activated it just starts rolling and feeds it straight through.
All I can hear is my step at the door whinging.
Sorry, we've got dogs that just love to come into the room. This is the one that comes with it. It's a 1 inch, so you would cut a 2-inch bias binding to fit, and you would come out with the result of a 1 inch. To buy the different ones that are still out there to buy, you're looking at about $40. I'm going to show you what I did with the ones that we purchased from eBay. My $8 packet. I'm sure I got it cheaper than that to fit on here, and I was still able to use it. In the back here, it has the stand that goes in there where you have the guide to have your fabric running through. Then you have your reel that you would wind your bias on. So I'm going to do 2 demonstrations. This is a 2-inch straight width cut, which is fine if you're doing it round a blanket. All you have to do is slip it into the little slot and start winding. This was just the full width of the fabric, so about 1.15 meters of bias. I didn't even cut off the selvage, but I did forget to do the point. But that's what we have scissors for. These are my all-purpose scissors, so they're probably not going to... they weren't too bad.
My fabric scissors are there somewhere.
So I'm going to plug the cord in the back here. This heats up really quick. There's the light. We're going to wait for that to go green. While it's doing that, we put that in there, and that will run over there, making sure we've got that 2-inch width. So when it's running through here, it's going to stay in its place. You can just unclip this. I can feel that starting to get warm now. And you just push it down through there. It does have a slot in the top here that if you can't get it to go through, needle pin, I'm using the quick unpick jack, it goes through. Oops. It has a little lip at the front here that clips into the front, and then you can clip it down. Otherwise it won't clip in safe. Getting there. I've got mine on the cotton linen max because it's cotton that I'm using, so it's going to get a good hot temperature into it. It's like watching the pot boil. Never does when you're waiting. In the instructions it does show that it will cut off if you've left it running. So if you've made your one set, you've gone off, wind, whatever, got distracted, it will auto turn off. The green light's on. Look at that. That took no time at all. So then you can come back and just put the reset button and it'll start it back up for you. So what we do need to do is take this cover off. Again, careful, that is warm. It's hot like an iron. So you just pull it through till you're here on top of the the roller. I always find the first probably 2 inches of my bias is going to be a little wobbly, and you can see why when it's not really going through the iron. So that's done. All I have to do is hit run, and there we go. Watch how quick that's going to push out all that. I'm not touching it, it's guiding perfectly. And done. And I can just stop the run, hit the run button again, which stopped it, so it doesn't have to be turned off. Look how perfect that is. It is completely perfect down the middle, the whole way. Just perfect. Now, I couldn't justify, we're savvy, spending a whole heap of money. My bias that I use a lot is the red one, which is 3/4 of an inch, where I cut 1.5 inch bias. So these things, they come with knobs on the bottom with the little holder for when you're ironing, you can hold on to it. What I did was, well, I can't take the credit for that. Scott did it. He pulled that off for me, and then with his grinder in the shed, he just ground those lumps off for me. I'm gonna pull the tape off. They're flat, there's no more bumps. And then we've got this double-sided tape. It's been around the house for years. You can buy it everywhere, especially in hardware stores. So it gives you a little bit of padding because this sits up that little bit more. All I did was I did a run of it down the middle and from side to side. So what I do is I just really make sure that I'm getting about that completely on the middle and that's stuck down. And it's stuck really well because I'm going to show you it's not going to move. This is a fat quarter cut on the bias. When I find the end, now I'll just roll this on the reel again. You can put it under this little tab that it has here. The only thing I find, it doesn't release very easy and it tends to then pull and you have a bit of a trouble at the end. So just stick it in the hole. Almost finished winding it on now. This takes a little bit of time. I haven't even ironed either which way for the joins. I've just made sure I've clipped them so when they go through there's no little dog ears. I missed that one. Now the only problem I have with this one that I've adapted, I don't have the joys of being able to push it through. But most of the time it will go through anyway. See, it's coming out the end already. Let me pull this off. Again, being really careful because that is hot, hot, hot. And lay it across till we get to the running part. Now remember the difference. This one was cut the full width of the fabric. This one is actually cut on the bias. And I'm using an adapted foot, which is 3/4 of an inch with 1.5 inch bias. Alright, so let's hit run and let's show you how quick this goes. Join went straight through, no issues, and it's come out that side perfect. And I'd hit the run button again and it stops. I don't have to run any more through, so I'm actually going to turn this off now. So that again is really neat. The joins have gone through perfect. There's a join there. It's gone through so flat. There we go again. Just nice and flat and even. Now that was 1 fat quarter cut by 1.5 inches. That, my measurement, is roughly 1 meter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry I got a bad back, 5, just over 6 meters of bias done in a really short amount of time. That would have taken me ages at the ironing board, and the way my back is, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have had to get Cass to do it for me.
I don't have time to waste.
It all packs up really easy. So you just pull it out, put it back in its foam, take that out, put it in its foam, it's packed up. Because I always use the 3/4 inch, I just leave it stuck on there. I haven't got round to altering the others yet, only because I haven't needed them. There is one thing that I dislike about this machine, and that is I cannot store the power cord in the box as well. I have tried and I'll show you different ways of winding it up and trying to keep it away from everything. And I'm going to lift the other way. It doesn't close, and it's hot, so I wouldn't want to close it yet. Just like an iron, you're going to let it cool down before you pack it away. This is my only problem with the cord. However, I keep it in its box, so that isn't too bad. So what I would do when it's cold, I'd close it back up. I'm going to open it back up in a minute, don't be scared. It flips back in. The cardboard box with the instructions, all my clips in. The power cord can go in, and that does go back in, and packed up nice and easy. If you do a lot of bias binding, I highly recommend it. I hope they bring more out on the market because it is wonderful. People do buy a lot of bias binding, however, it's plain, it's dull. Where's our box of bias? I've got a box of pre-made bindings. It's black. There's not much to it. It's
Black.
a blacky grey. And then I've got all my other biases. Must roll them up one day. That one's rolled up. I just have lots of leftovers, and they're great then. I can use them on other projects. What I like about it is I can match. If you've got a little girl's dress, then you fold it in half and you stitch it, and you've got a beautiful little strap that's perfect. See how I meant the beginning starts a little bit weird, but I'm easily going to sacrifice that. That's not a problem. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my demonstration on the bias making machine. I love it. I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. So you can catch us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Let me know if you get one of these. Have you got one? What's your experience? What's your tips of getting them? Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Bye. Get some pieces with me again.